Hi guys, welcome to Spiritual Soul Center. Thank you so much for joining in today on the YouTube video. We really appreciate all the support and everything, and we're so excited to see everyone in Manchester on Sunday, everyone that's going. There's a lot of talk, a lot of energy about that, and also, of course, so excited to be in Morocco. So yeah, it's just some exciting things coming up. We're all so buzzing. So I will not spend too long introducing today. We've got the beautiful Trisha at Authentic Aura Crystals doing all of her magic, her YouTube videos, jewelry, and everything. Please check that out on YouTube and also at AuthenticAuraCrystals.com. And the beautiful Duygu, and she is on Instagram of conscious. Let me just check that, make sure it's right. Conscious Duygu, which is ConsciouDuygu. So check her out at Instagram. She's absolutely wonderful. Make sure you check in both these lovely ladies out. So I will introduce them all back on so that we can get in. So guys, how are you both today?
Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited to have both the dream team on today. It's like combining the powerful divine feminine and putting all these powerful ladies together. I'm sure in the future there'll be a lot more of these with us guys and a lot more powerful women, because we're just all here to anchor each other.
Yeah, I love powerful women.
Really nice.
Especially powerful women that can really just be within their power.
Oh no.
Where's she gone?
Oh, my bad. And not be triggered by other powerful women.
Yes.
And that's be like, hey, I see you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's not competition.
How beautiful is that?
The most beautiful.
And it is, though, right? Because it's not a competition. It's not. There's enough abundance. There's enough light and love to be spread around and to support each other. And the more that we support each other, the better we all do. And you know, we can all say we've come from a point in his own life and his own egos, in his own journey. We're not perfect. We've not just come from this, been born into this, and been like, oh, we've never been in competition with another woman. We've never judged ourselves against her. We've never come. Of course we have. You know, she's gone again. She'll be back in a minute. But I think she's back again. I think it's about you know, navigating through that journey and accepting when you put yourself in comparison, accepting when you put yourself on a judgment, because in reality that's your own insecurities. It's nothing to do with them. So really,
well, also to add to what you're saying, Anya, it's also this concept of we're really moving in the direction of we can't just do it on our own. We're not meant to just do it on our own. And so what that looks like, and this is where heart medicine comes in such a beautiful way. We are able to be of service and give from our heart and like really just like open that. And that's great, but that's half the equation, because we know the way that energy flows and works toroidally around us. So as we're giving from an open heart, there's also receiving. And that receiving from community looks like receiving help. And in fact, if we haven't even like, we're not even in a place to receive, then we got to ask.
Yes.
And then be open to receiving it.
And it's such a key point that at the moment, like I struggle with that a lot, asking for help or not doing it on my own. I'm like, no, just do it on my own, just get everything done on my own. And you know, it did work for me for a certain time, but then there is a point where there is so much of an easier way just to ask for support, just to communicate how you're feeling. And it really is so important, whether you're at the place in your journey where you're already doing that and you need to help others do that and create space for others to do that, or you need to start doing that yourself. You know, we've all been at different ends of that journey, and I'm fantastic for holding space for others, but absolute shit for holding space for myself. So, you know, don't.
Can I just add to that? Because I've just been writing stuff down. So I've just been writing the affirmations down, and for me, myself, that all comes down to worthiness, being worthy. For receiving, you know, it's not just give. Yeah, you're allowed it back.
And you know, that worthiness also goes into how much we charge for our services.
Definitely. Not to be worthy.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so like an easy place to start really when we're in the space of like, I really don't know how to receive, or I like what you said, Anya, and I want to reflect this back to you to give you the opportunity to like change that, right? Because we know our words create and manifest our future in real time. but you said I'm shit at holding space for myself, and it's like, that's
I'm
fine.
getting better at it. No, I am getting a lot.
That's fine. That's fine. And there's no judgment. There's so not judgment when I say that, because this is exactly what community does, is I offer that reflection, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it that way. That's not the love and light way to do it. And it's like, are we allowed to swear on this channel?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, bitch. Okay, good. Just making sure. It's like, bitch, that's not the point. It's not about just love and light. Because again, that's only like 40% of the equation if we're looking at that.
I always joke and say I'm a little bit of love and light and a little bit of go fuck yourself as well.
Oh. Bad bitch vibes. Basically. And so in that space, then if you see yourself in that space of like, yeah, I'm not really good, if you resonate with that, if anyone's watching that resonates with, yeah, I just don't know how to do that for to do that for myself. I could do it for others, but I don't know how to do it for myself. That's a very common thing we say.
And you're right, I should have affirmed the difference. It was me for a long time, whereas I am 10 million times better at doing that now, and I do it a lot. So I will.
It's just changing your thought language patterns, innit? Change the thought process.
Yes.
Yeah, not being set on thinking, that's the way I've always been, so that's just who I am. That really fucking pisses me off, because that's what I used to say all the time, like about my anger issues, or about my lack of communicating my needs and being open, and all, like, oh, that's just who I am. But it's not who you are. It's a trauma response. It's a defense mechanism, and it's something that
is not who I am anymore.
No way. And it's also acknowledging that trauma response has a purpose. Like, it had a purpose, and it has a purpose.
Exactly.
Like, you really get to choose what that means to you. But really going back to like the most simplest way of like, I don't know how to hold space for myself, I can do it for others. Then that's a beautiful spot to ask for someone to hold space for you, especially for your emotions. And it's as simple as going to someone and being like, hi, Anya. Hi, Trisha. I'm going through a really rough time. Do you have 10 minutes to hold space for me? Do you have the ability to just like hear me out and just reflect me back to me? Or I'm feeling shit about myself right now. Can you just remind me who I am?
Yeah. And you know what? You've just hit on something so important there, because I do that a lot, like a lot. And I think I got to a point lately where I'm like, people, not necessarily, it's not anyone individual, it's not anyone specific, but it kind of felt like a culmination of me having to be the one that notices when they need that and bring that all the time. And that's fine as long as you're wanting to do that. But it became a point where I was exhausted in being the one that needed to then remind them to then ask. And it's just like this cycle. It's like, you've got to show up for yourself. You've got to
show up. They wanted you to they want you to fix them. You cannot fix them. They've got to fix themselves.
Yes.
And it's like, there's a thin line between holding the space, and I'm able to do that as long as you're standing the fuck up going, I'm ready to work, I need to clear my shit, what do I need to do? I will reflect that back to you. But then if you're in a place of going, oh, it's so shit, and then repeating the cycles continuously, what do you want me to do? I'm not there to make your life magic and change it overnight. That's not my job.
But that's exactly it. What is holding space then? Because holding space is not fixing someone else's problems.
Exactly that.
Holding space is only mirroring. Yeah. Because what that means is I'm holding my shit behind the mirror. Like, I'm taking responsibility for my stuff, because what I'm only doing is listening to you fully, 100%. And I don't need to speak. I'll ask, are you open to a reflection?
Yeah, I love it when you do that. I'm like, oh, here's the good shit's coming now.
Exactly. And then also acknowledging that space of like, Trisha, when you said, I loved when you said it, I'm not going to fix it, or I'm not going to fix you.
Yeah.
Like with that, for instance, what does that person give up by saying, fix me?
Their power.
Everything. The power. Their power. They're not the power. They're giving the power away again.
Yeah, and it comes from us having this kind of energy, because sometimes it can not be forceful, but not, feel like, we're like, oh, we're not there to fix you. But at the end of the day, we've tried that method. Me and Trish, all of us here has tried to do that for other people. We've tried to help lead them the way and show them. And the point is, you can't. I tried it with many people, family members, friends, and you can't help them be fixed. You have to, you can help themselves in some way. You can be their cheerleader, as I call it. So you can be the one on the side cheering them on, showing them emotional
But how beautiful if you could be your own cheerleader.
as well.
Do you know what that means, Trisha? Okay,
Well, I am my own cheerleader.
Yes, but
means
that
I'll
means
never
you've done
give
the
my.
work.
I'll always, if I hurt, then I've done it myself. You know, if I feel good, I've done that myself. Took the power straight back to me.
But it is also like we were saying, that thin line between, you know, like, don't get me wrong, there's been many times in my life where I've been the cheerleader for other people and been like, they just needed that tiny bit of reflection of their own power back to them from me. And then there's been many times where them same people, and I'll shout out my little Mel the other day, we went wild swimming, and we always help each other, motivate each other. I'm like, Mel, you can do this. And the other day I was really cold, and she was like, Anya, you can do it, you've got this power. And she reflected back that energy that I always reflect to others right back to me. And that balance between me being able to reflect it to others, but then also being able to going back to the giving and receiving, you know, it's beautiful to be your own cheerleader, and you always have to do that. Don't ever not do that. But then it is okay to cheerlead for others and let them cheerlead for you, and have that balance of energy as well as being your own. Like, it's finding that balance between not relying on others, not leaving your safety and dependence to them, but also allowing them in to help you so you don't have to fight it alone. There's a balance between both.
Because it's practice. When we're doing it for others, it's practice. And then the moment that we can do it for ourselves is the moment we're being present with our inner child, being present with our emotions, being present with how to express all of those things, but not from the space of not processing the emotion, from the space of having processed the emotion, because that's the mature self taking responsibility. But I find with the cheerleader thing, it requires inner teen work.
Right?
It's the inner teen that's like, fuck all of you. I don't want to self-sabotage, like you're a big cunt and like you can't do anything right. Honestly,
why do we have to wait for these people? They're taking too long. We gotta wait for them. They gotta see what we see.
And that inner teamwork is really that being comfortable with the inner masculine structure that we've created. And it's like being comfortable with well, father wounds, quite frankly.
Deep.
And then after father wounds is the mother wounds, because we know, being girls growing up with our mother, we know how bitchy we were to them. It's like we projected all of our menstrual pain and like frustration of being born a woman in this lifetime onto our mothers
and the women. And it's interesting. It's interesting. I feel like as women, even just us three today, we have maybe even as far as energy wise, what I'm picking up on, very contrasting different experiences with the feminine energy, with the divine feminine, and both in connections with our mothers, but also as a mother, obviously me and not human mums, but that mother energy that we possess. And it's like navigating that journey between healing the wound with the inner mother within ourselves, but then also then being able to heal that to then apply that motherhood to others, you know, if that makes sense. It's like that navigation. Even though we all came from different experiences, we all found that balance in our own way.
Ooh. Okay. I like that. I know, I mean, Trisha, I'd love for you to answer it as well. For me, it feels like my ability to do the mothering and the gentleness and being in my feminine was the way that I navigated the mother wound without having to like do anything with my mother. Realizing that like the moment that I was highly critical of someone, it was because I was being too hard, too in my masculine. And I really just needed to like bring it back. And the moment I brought it back, took responsibility of my triggers and took as an activation, that's the moment where I was just like, shit, there's an easier way to navigate this. The gentler I do it, it's ease, it's flow. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, well, mine, you know, I have 3 boys, so I was quite masculine. Me, I brought them up myself, so I was very, very masculine. And it was one of my children that made me see things totally differently.
Yes. What number? Which birth order number?
3.
No, 2.
Oh, 2, really? I thought you was going to say 3.
No, the 2. Yeah, so we were very demanding, if you like. Yeah, but so I had to just deal with it differently. You know, go to school meetings, doing this, doing that, and it's like
really like pushed you.
They were treating him like a naughty boy, and he wasn't a naughty boy, and it was like I just had to be his voice. So I really had to stand up in that, and then that really made me aware of don't take control of everything. You know, so that made it loads different for me how I started to parent from then on, and I had to be different people as well for each child.
Yeah, yes.
And that like from an outsider, because obviously I was there like in the outside watching this journey from you, like because obviously we've known each other for what, I don't even know, 10, 11 years, long time. So as I've watched your journey, like even that's why I thought you was going to say number 3, because I thought you was on about the emotional, like the feminine soft side. You know, I thought that's what you was going to say. That's why.
Yeah, they're all very different, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. When you said, you know, you learn different from all, and I totally agree with what you said there, 100%. And even like down to your physical, the way you physically represented yourself aesthetically has changed into a lot more of like a more feminine, gentle, womanly energy. Not that you want before, but it was very like.
Yeah, you know, I have one child that don't like touch, so that was the middle child. He don't like touch at all. So then I want engaging with the little one.
Yeah, of course, and
it took him to say, "Mummy, you're not cuddling me enough." Oh shit!
And okay. You know what a brave thing for you to admit, because there will be so many people that will watch this.
Didn't even realise it though, Anya.
Wow, no, but it's
didn't realise it. You just you're so standoffish, like, right, okay, you know. So then, yeah, it took him to go, Mummy, you're not cuddling me enough. So I'm like, right, do you want me to cuddle you? There you go.
Yeah. And it's like I said, such a beautiful, powerful thing to go, wow, actually that was me. That was my shit, because I had to navigate that journey. And then
I was like a robot though at that time. I was just like robotic.
It was fight or flight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Living in fight or flight, survival mode. Gotta get to that post, just get that done, meet that need, do that. And a lot of women and men will feel the same way in their own personal journey right now, which is why it's so brave and honest of you to kind of accept that part in your transition, because people will relate to that and people will understand that it's just a part of your healing journey. And just accept the vibration where you are in that moment, allow it to be, instead of fighting it, resisting it, ignoring it, process it and be with it, release it and move from it, so that you're not stuck in that moment replaying that energy.
So then, Trisha, how did you go from robotic to like getting back into your body and feeling?
Long haul journey.
I mean, 100.
You know, yeah, it was mainly just, I'm going to say meditation, but there were a lot of things that slotted in there, you know, just really, and I think just knowing who I was, know who you are. So do I want to be this person? I don't like that person. You know, I like this person. So really just taking that power and putting it within me. And again, yeah, knowing who you are, standing up in confidence of who you are.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like, from my perception, again, from the outside in, the way that you allowed yourself to communicate over the years, like communication was a big no-no for you.
I won't communicate with nobody.
But then even let's
a lot of time, I won't communicate, as in, sometimes it was just that I just didn't even want to waste my breath on you know. I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So you've gone from like this really closed off, fuck off, I here to it, you know, like shut down.
Fuck off.
Yeah. And there was no time, no space for you to be held for you. Never mind them. There was like, and that's the thing. As much as there was no communication with others, and correct me if I'm wrong, in my perception, it was because there was that lack of communication with self. So when you started to communicate, I remember like we sat there many times over the years talking, you'd be like, wow, I've never actually spoke about this shit, you know, and I'd be like, oh, really, you know, and it was interesting to communicate these things out with you on this journey, and to watch you then becomes something you would never talk about, to then talk about with such ease, to help inspire others as
Yeah,
well.
I think though
Like,
that because you suppress a lot of things, so obviously the kid, when things come up in that moment, I was like, whoa. So then I discuss it, at that time. So that
yeah.
was a really good thing for me, I went really with the inner child. That was amazing for me. Amazing for me
A
to
lot of
do. It was
breakthroughs
a
made.
scary thing to do.
Yeah.
But
That's beautiful because
now I can do that with ease. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go meet my inner child.
Yeah.
And it's so, and before I was terrified. But yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm that's an amazing way that you've navigated it, actually, Trisha. I'm a child therapist, and a lot of the inner child work I've done has been as a result of the children reflecting back to me what I need to be seeing. And of course, I wasn't working with a neurotypical group of children. I've been working with neurodivergent children, which means their brains just work so differently that I really needed to get at their level without communicating, like really get like energetically at their level. And so I essentially got this intuitive hit a couple of months ago to create this program for parents, with the intention of getting feedback from parents so then I can create this program for educators and teachers. But from that space, I realized parents are going to be triggered the most because they're being triggered to do their inner child work, because here's their child in front of them representing how vulnerable they were as a child, how they didn't have those supports in place perhaps, or the love, the comfort, all of that. And here's their child like triggering them, and the parents like, but I've not had any of these, so what do you mean? And of course the parent then projecting onto the child, and just seeing the beautiful realizations and the optimal opportunity that the child and the parent have when the parent is open to receiving the reflections from their children, and how that offers an evolution that is far more faster, far more potent, yes, than that parent doing the work on their own and then their child going through the work. Because at this current moment, unfortunately, a lot of children are being traumatized. And that's just the process. Now, is that a bad or a good thing? That's not for us to decide. It's just happening. So we're just going to deal with it, right? We're being present and accepting. And it doesn't mean we're accepting doing it, right? Sometimes we do it unconsciously, and that's exactly what allows it to come to the surface. But it's that opportunity of seeing, okay, so this is the reality. How do we work with this now?
All right, so true. And that comes up a lot, like with my little sister. She's 8, and she reflects so much back to me. She's 9 actually, but she reflects back to me so much of like, like my patience, and and I watch her, and she's 9 years old, and now she's got so much anxiety in her little soul, and I look at her and I'm like, wow, that little kid is living in such little fear of not being herself and being judged, and I just think it really hurts my soul. It makes me so sad, and it's just I try and then create the space for her to feel confident and comfortable in being different and strange and weird and whatever, and not fitting in the box, because I struggled to have that for me when I was a child. And sometimes, you would say, oh, it's like kind of creating healing for your own trauma, which it is. It does do that for me as well. But it also, in my opinion, prevents her from recreating that own cycle in her own life.
See, I'm really lucky with my 13-year-old. I homeschool him. The other two, went to school. They're very jealous that I didn't do that for them. But I wasn't able to do that then at that time. I didn't understand everything as I do now.
Also wasn't right at that time.
No. So, he gets to be who he wants to be, which is beautiful. And with everybody around him, they're quite enlightened, aren't they? Which is really good.
Nice. It is nice to have that opportunity for freedom and, expansion, because so many people, we're all navigating this journey, and that's something to always remember. I say it a lot on these videos, like, really, truly, no one has a clue what we're doing. Not one of us.
No one.
When I had my first child, when I had Bradley, I was in hospital and I thought, they're going to let me take this baby home. I don't even know what I'm doing. What do you mean they're just going to let me take this baby home? That's what it's honestly. Like, they're going to let me take this baby home.
There's no manual.
People that think that though. I have so many mums that said to me when they passed me, I was like, the fuck are you doing? Why, what? And that's the thing. And some women are lucky to have mums and family members that can help out. But imagine them poor girls that don't, and that are on their own. Fuck me, it must be scary. It must be so terrifying. And they do amazing to get through that alone. And the thing is, you're not alone. You've got our energy support, but it can feel alone. Like 100% get that. But it is kind of about now, really, and this is going to trigger some people, so just an FYI. It's about stepping out of victim mode, stepping out of, no, this happened to me.
Because that's creating who you are again.
What is your shit you need to deal with? How are you projecting that same trauma that you went through onto your children, onto your family members, onto your partner, onto your friend?
Because it's coming up for a reason.
Onto you again, though, onto yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it is about now taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability. But when you are projecting, if you don't want people projecting onto you, stop projecting onto other people, acknowledge that, and set a boundary in place so that when they're doing that, acknowledge it calmly, quietly. I feel like you're disrespecting my boundary right now, and I feel like you're in my face. I'm going to remove myself from this situation if you're not going to respect the boundary that I've put in place. You don't have to be a smart ass or sarcastic or shouting. That's the thing I learned over the years. My family, I love them all dearly, but they communicate very loudly. They all scream and shout like normal. And I grew up thinking that it's fine to scream at each other, call each other all the names under the sun, and then 5 minutes later to ask each other if you want a cup of tea. And in my mind, that was normal. So I recreated that pattern in my relationships, in my family. I just continued on that cycle. And then afterwards, I'd feel the guilt and the emotion and the shit that you then feed that contributes to that cycle recreating in the future. And it's really about, no one would have stopped that cycle. I would still be doing that today and still sometimes think about doing it if I did not acknowledge my own self wanting to feel the need to project that out, to get that. And I grab it like a horse's rein and I pull it back in. And I go and do my music, energy work, go meditate, go walk, bare feet on the ground, change the vibration, take control. It's your mind, your thoughts, your energy. Change it. You don't like the way you are, you don't want to project it, then fucking move. Go do something about it. That's the thing. And I've not lost the patience, but I have a little bit, I'm sick of telling people the same shit and it not being done. It's like, come on, guys, we've got the tools, we've got the equipment. You want things to change in the earth. You want it to be a better place to raise the kids. Then let's do it. Let's make the change we need to be. Let's do it.
I think that's where we start to get into, first of all, yes, acknowledging, like what you said, Anya, acknowledging the space of which I'm recreating the same pattern. And the reason why we're doing it is purely like the brain likes to do things over and over again and optimize it, right? And so that's the mental element. And so when things come up, of course, that's immediately where we're going to go without even thinking.
And so it likes familiarity, doesn't it?
Years later,
100%.
It still comes up. Like it can be. I have not reacted like that in so many. Like when I came back and had a spiral that time, I haven't felt like that for years. And when it happened, I recognized it. I was like, wow, the intensity of this emotion, the way this feels. Like I have not recognized that in my own being for such a long time. But I had a choice in that moment. Do I continue this pattern? Do I actually allow this pattern to recreate, or do I take control and change it? It's always a choice. It's just very quick sometimes.
I completely agree. And so I think in that moment, it's really like when we get out of victim mindset, in that very moment, it's an opportunity to be like, fuck, this happens. And it's like, okay, that's where we hold space for self. We're like, I understand that's really shitty. And I know that this has been a really tough decision. Let's take a moment to connect to our broader self, our higher self. Let's just take a moment to connect to that for a second and be like, okay, this is happening for a reason. And then that question, where have I seen this pattern before? Is this mine or is this not mine? And then the moment we choose to repattern and change, that's the moment we choose to reparent ourselves.
Exactly. And break that cycle. And it recreates that healing that then can create healing for generational patterns above. So if you've not had children yet, or even if you do have children yet, despite whatever, if you then You learn to process that trauma within you, and it's not within your cell memory. When you are then having children, especially like this women trauma to other women, when you then engage in your new child or a daughter energy, that dynamic, that energy, because that subconscious trauma within you has been healed, you're not going to project that friction and that conflict onto your child like you had the same energy with your energy. And that's the whole point, right? To break the cycles.
Ooh, so okay, so let's do a take home because I feel like this is wrapping up. Let's do a take home of like because what I do in this moment of like, okay, I am the creator of my reality. This thought, these things are gonna come up. That moment of being in victim. So, what is the reflection, or what is that cue for you, for each of us, of when you know that you're like, ah, shit, I'm in victim. I need a moment.
Okay.
What is that cue for you? Is it verbal? Is it a mental thought? Is it a feeling? Is it a bodily feeling, like you feel something in your body?
Yeah, so mine's like a bit of both. So
I'll go
I was
first.
Yeah.
I think it's that moment of like, fuck, why is this happening again?
yeah, so it's kind of like I'm
That's
definitely
the
a
self
feeler.
thought. That's the self thought.
Yeah, like I feel a lot. I'm definitely a feeler, so I'm working on energy, emotion all the time. And it's not necessarily when I recognize I'm in victim mode, I'll clear that out. I recognize mine as when I'm spiraling. So I do the reflection later on. What I recognize is when my current state of being is not level. So if my heart rate's going, my hands are sweating, my breathlessness, my hands are shaking, if my energy, my body is showing me a disruption within self, I will then look, first of all, fuck everything and everyone off around me and focus on balancing out myself and how I feel first. And then once I feel at a more level point, in a more balanced place, heart space, grounding it, I either shut my eyes, do some breathing, listen to music, walk away from the situation, remove myself away from the energy and create a new energy cycle. And then I will reflect on what that was. Was that my trigger, their trigger? What was that energy? Because obviously, working as a clairsentient empath psychic medium, sometimes you are receptible to just picking up other people's shit, and that's what you. You've got to learn to discern: is this my shit? Is this their shit? What the fuck, you know? And it really is finding that balance. So when I notice a physical change in my being, I then remove, address, and then reflect on what it is I need to either heal from, work on, address, or just ground and protect my aura more
So
when
RAR, remove, address, and reflect.
yeah,
RAR.
I love that. I love that.
Cool.
What
How
about
about
you?
you, Trisha?
Mine's really a thought process, but I learned this. So I used to give my child a 7-second delay of answering anything.
Ooh.
So, because obviously it's high functioning. So I'd give him the 7 seconds to like see it through. So I think I started doing that for myself as well at the same time.
I fucking love that. You
So
took your
mine's
own
really a
medicine.
thought process. So literally I will think and think, oh, no, we're not going that way. So I literally retrain my brain. I think I've been doing it for a long time, you know, because it gets I'm quite good at it. I'm quite good at
Yeah, I
retraining
will
it.
say, Trish, you are one of the people I've met that has, like, I seem to deal with shit on a human level a lot. So I relate to a lot of human emotions. And Trisha's like, what the fuck, I've done something. You know, she's up here on this way of, like, kind of processing it, like, on this level, like, in the higher self constantly. And it's very rarely that you drop into that human emotion of, oh, I feel shit about this. You know, I don't ever hear you say that often.
No, I think a lot, me. I have a really
Processing higher
good
self.
thought. Yeah.
And you brought up one thing I really want to add. So my lovely, lovely counsellor, hypnotherapist that I go to, I won't say her name just in case you don't want me to, but she's a beautiful, wonderful. She taught me some techniques in the brain. So obviously we use the breathing techniques as well, but I just want to do a little mini exercise with everyone, if that's okay, for a couple of minutes. And this is really going to help on anxiety and panic attacks and feelings in the solar plexus or the chest area. So it's a bit of a weird one, but we'll give it a go. So I want you to shut your eyes. And again, this is why it's a bit strange, because I want you to think of something that creates that feeling of anxiety, either in the stomach or in the heart, in the chest space. And I want you to focus on the direction in which it is spinning, create a ball or a shape to the energy, focus the direction in which it is spinning, and create a color to that emotion. And now, as you're watching it spin in the cycle of anxiety with that color, I want you to stop the spinning, change the color to green and white, and flip it the other way. Just spin the energy the other way to calm and peace, and feel your body Release the tension and the stress and feel the adjustment. Now, any single time you feel anxiety in that area or any area, identify it, address it, and change the vibration. Simply as that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it really works for me because I am a fucking panicker. I used to have about 10, 20 panic attacks a day, fucking shaking. So for me, and obviously I've got the event coming up at Manchester and Morocco, and I am feeling anxiety about getting up on stage, all the human emotions coming up, and I keep feeling the anxiety coming up in the stomach and the chest, and I keep flipping it the other way, breathing, affirmating then I am powerful, I am grounded, I am protected. And just combating that, taking control, not letting them thoughts and the feeling override your power. Take your power back.
Do you know as well, Anya, there's quite a good one. Keep your mouth moist.
Yeah,
Keep your
well,
mouth
you know me,
wet.
I'm always drinking, mate. You know me, never stop. I'm always got
It
juice.
tells your mind you're relaxed.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Stay in a relaxed state then. So when
Really
you get
interesting.
dry
Okay,
mouth,
that must do something. That must do something to the nervous system
Must
and
do.
the what is that vagus nerve?
Yeah, big. Yeah.
Because like even
Interesting.
the act of like salivating, because like I literally licked my lips when you said that. I like
Yeah.
went like this and I licked my lips and I was
I
like,
went to get the drink.
oh,
I was
that's
like, oh, okay.
interesting. Nice. Or even just like putting your tongue to the roof and like anyways, that's fascinating. Okay.
I
like
know.
that.
So now you know, yeah, if your mouth's getting a bit dry, you can start
Mhm.
panicking, just, you know.
Yeah, and also
Push that saliva around your mouth and you will calm.
yeah, and asking the guides to come forward, asking your loved ones to come forward, holding a crystal, releasing the energy out into the earth, blowing it out of your mouth like you're blowing a balloon out, blowing out the energy. There's so many techniques we can use here. It's just finding one that works for you, and really harnessing the power and harnessing the control. But I know you've got to get off, my darling. But me and Trish, if you want to stay on, do you want to do a meditation? Maybe take them through a guided meditation if you fancy that.
Oh, I love that you guys will do that.
Yeah, do you fancy that, Trish?
I don't know. We'll see. I might do. My ears are hurting a little bit. I've been swimming and I've got water in my ears.
Okay, why doesn't the meditation be something where you go deep underwater
Right.
and you search for something that'll find the solution to the plugged ears? I don't know, just saying.
Yeah,
Just
this
saying.
is what I always say. I always say this. I'm glad you said it because you would have not told me to fuck off.
Trisha, you can tell me to fuck off and I'll be like, okay.
You gotta
Honestly, it's
I'm off to go get a bath.
Okay, before I go, I wanna just show you the area that I'm in.
Oh,
it's just really beautiful. There's a kid jumping off.
It's little child, wild and free.
Oh,
Wild
yeah.
and free. And do you know what? It's such a sacred space for this session. And guys, I thank you so much. You know, I would love to keep doing this. Maybe make it like a weekly thing.
Yes.
And then, you know, anyone else that's in our team that wants to join in, or any guests that any of you guys have, welcome to bring them on and kind of bring, you know, I love sharing with you guys and speaking. It's always so beautiful. But yeah, I just want you guys to I'm so grateful for you both and the reflections that you bring, and just give yourself that little bit of love today and hold that love, guys, because it's so beautiful.
Thank you all for just being and being here in this timeline, in this reality together, because holy shit, what would we do? I'm so grateful. Okay, sending you all love. It's 5:55 my time, which is
it's 14:55 our time.
5:55.
Love it.
Love it.
And
right, darling.
we'll talk soon.
We'll see you soon, sweetie. Take care. Have a beautiful day.
Bye, sweetie.
So, do you want to do your meditation?
Should we?
Yeah, I'll do it.
A quick one.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's sort my ears out.
Nice to you. Righty ho. Don't know what that was. Old English. Right, guys. So I think we'll do one on. What do you want to do? I was going to do it on overthinking and calming the overactive mind, and like organization. But should we do it as a water theme? Do you want to do a water? Clear out the blockages. Any blockages in the mind and the ears?
Yeah, could do.
Yeah, right.
You're all right doing that? Because you didn't really like water, did you?
Oh yeah, no, I'm a lot better now. Well, we won't be going deep underwater. Deep took me to let's see. We won't be doing that. Sorry. What we can do water. We'll have like a beautiful little water pool, like a little sacred water pool, see-through sacred. Beautiful. So just take a deep breath in now, guys. And release. And just feel the tension releasing out of your body. Feel your muscles sinking into the chair underneath you. Knowing that you in this moment are calm and peace. As you see the tree roots coming out of your feet, going down deep into the earth, into the core of the new earth, wrapping their roots around the earth as they go. Knowing the earth body is protected and the astral body is protected with the silver cord. And the bubble around the auras with the white energy and also the golden age, gold frequency bubble around. Protecting this auric space, expanding the bubble out around the house, any beings in the home, around the land, around the space, protecting the whole area. Knowing that you are grounded and protected, you can now step out of the astral body and walk towards the beautiful crystal door. And as you take a step through the beautiful clear quartz, purple amethyst door, and you feel the love and the light and the heart vibration surrounding your full cellular active body. And you feel your feet on the sand as you walk through the other side of the door. And as you walk down to the most beautiful water pool that looks like the waterfall is flowing off it, only small, but the light is glowing. Pure source activation energy flowing into that water pool. And it's completely see-through. You can see that there is nothing in there. And as you get in the beautiful water pool now, fully immersing yourself under, you feel the activations in the mind, in the body, in the higher self, connecting the astral body to the highest self body in the now, resurfacing up and feeling the water trickling over your head, activating the higher self, the crown, all in the mind, in the back of the head, organizing the brain and the thoughts, the stresses and the worries, knowing that everything is divine timing, divine plan, are all placed in the specific time for a reason. Knowing that the mind now is going to be organized. After the count of 3, it's going to be placed into boxes, into storage boxes, books, folders, categories, drawers. Whatever resonates with you, the mind is going to have organization and clarity so that everything is not swirling around all at once. Ideas and business flows in one, family thoughts in one, relationships in another, matters of the heart in a child, all in their own separate categories. And as we now count to 3 under the water, knowing that we will stay under this meditation, but the work will be done. 1, 2, 3. And the activations have been done in the crown chakra now. And that source energy flows down through the ears, opening up the channels to light energy, to source, receiving downloads from higher self on a clear basis, removing any blockages in the ears, activating the third eye, removing the veil and the darkness from the third eye, and sending that energy beaming all the way down each and every chakra, circling round, bringing light, love and healing to the whole astral body. And I want you to now ask your higher self to bring an area to focus on in your journey. That might be your inner child, inner teen, heart chakra, mind chakra, past lives. Whatever jumps out at you, it can be a label, a book, a word that flashes in front of your eyes, an image. Take the message and store it in the mind on a little board. Pop it in the mind. And ask them for a crystal that you should be working with at this time. And know that this constant state of healing and energy can come to you whenever you ask it to. So as you make your way back up the rock surface, up the sand, knowing that you feel completely and utterly free in this moment, to be vulnerable, to be open, because you are powerful. You are light. Feel that power in your belly. Feel the energy activating the light around you. Remember your strength and remember who you are. It's time to come back online. And as you take a deep breath in, and know that whenever you feel anxiety or stress, you can just channel into this energy, this emotion, this place. Feel this calm energy, this serenity, this protection, this peace at any time. And as you're ready, you can make your way back to the doorway, back into the room, and back into the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes. And when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Now clear your ears out. Let's go. Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
No, why? Because Stan kept kicking my laptop and my mic over. Every time you did that, what were you doing? Is it the
bell?
The bell, yeah, you were kicking while you were doing it.
Love that. But yeah, so hopefully you all enjoyed that, guys. And any feedback, any messages, just let me know. Thank you all for tuning. Whoever watched this back as well, I appreciate it. And as always, I send you with all love and light, pure energy, and just protect yourselves, guys, and look after yourselves. And just get in touch. And hopefully we'll see you all on Sunday in Manchester, Mark's event. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait, guys. Take care. Love you all. Live a night. Goodbye.
See you later.
Yeah,